Hello, everyone. It's Jerry from Kill the Cast, and I'm joined by my great friend here, Jeff. He is what you would call an average mainstream horror fan. He's seen stuff, but he hasn't seen it all. He is going to join me in a journey as we dive into some of the classics that us horror fans know and love that maybe doesn't get a lot of love in the mainstream. So with that being said, Jeff, tell the people kind of what your favorite horror movies are.
I like the standard mainstream kind of comedic style ones, more like Evil Dead, Return of the Living Dead, and say Stay Alive, or I say that right, Dead Alive.
Dead Alive.
Dead Alive. Sorry, Leprechaun, even Hellraiser, stuff like that.
Gotcha. So, with that being said, the other night we were in here looking at all the Blu-rays, and we were kind of going over ones he had never seen, stuff that I would love to actually show him and get his views and opinions on it. So tonight at Full Moon Cineplex, they were showing Lucio Fulci's Zombie, aka Zombie 2. So we decided, let's go check it out and let's kind of see how he feels about diving into some Italian horror. So with that being said, what were your first thoughts after seeing Lucio Fulci's Zombie?
Well, we have to kind of step back. So my first thoughts before I even saw the movie, I heard a lot of... It was mixed reviews. A lot of people mostly talked about the shark attack scene, so I was kind of more anticipating just seeing this scene and seeing how everybody loved this scene. But by the time I actually saw the movie, I realized that scene is not what makes this movie. I mean, if you kind of put yourself into that time period, I think it's a relatively good movie. The plot was nice. The story was actually pretty good, even though it does have holes in it. Of course, every movie from that time period seems to have that kind of those kind of holes, but it still was, still flowed very nicely. It wasn't too long and drawn out. And then the shark scene actually seemed to be the least favorite scene I had, even though it was cool. Yeah, he attacked the shark, but
yeah. So with that scene, I want to point out how the zombie moves very differently in that scene, and here's why. The guy that was supposed to play the zombie, he ended up being sick or some shit. So they actually had the shark handler play the zombie, and that's where we get our great zombie dance, which I fucking love. I will say, when people tell you about that scene, when they're like, it's a zombie versus a fucking shark, it kind of like makes you think it's going to be this big epic scene, but you're right, it's not that epic anymore. I'm sure back in the day, when they watched it in the 80s, they were blown away by that scene. But you're right, watching it now in 2019, it's kind of an okay scene. The scene that makes the movie is the eye splinter scene. How did you feel about that?
I actually love that scene. That, to me, was my favorite scene of the movie, just because of the fact that it played off slowly. It made it dramatic. The whole time you're thinking, are they really going to show it? Are they not going to show it? Is she going to get away? Nope. So it stabs right through like a nice little grape. Just pops that eye out. And then it's to even add to the fact, though, when they stuck it in her eye, they even added that little extra snap of the splinter breaking off the door, so when they pulled her in, so you can actually see her still kind of being tortured as he's yanking her in.
And I remember the first time that I watched it, Kenneth set me down to watch it. This VHS copy, actually. This was his. I got it from him. I remember when I was watching that scene, I was just like, oh, they're going to cut away from this. They're not going to show this. And when they showed it, I was just blown away. Because at this point, I hadn't seen anything like Cannibal Holocaust or really anything to the extreme. Kenneth is what really pushed me deeper into horror to watch these flicks I had never seen. And that scene is now like known. When they put out, they recently did a 4K restoration of Zombie, and it had 3 different covers. One is the cover where her eye is like right at the splinter right before it goes in. Probably the best cover out of the 3. Another cover is the zombie that comes out of the grave with the worms coming out of its eyes. How did you feel about that look? Because that, like, even on the cover here, that's the zombie that's used. It's the worm eye zombie. It's kind of every poster for this movie almost always uses this guy. What did you think of the look of the zombies for this movie?
I felt for the time period, thought they were a little bit more. I don't know if I'm pushing it too much, but a little more authentic. You know, a little bit more of the rotting flesh going on, a little bit more of the slow movements, and actually kind of making them a little bit more, you know, like they're actually the living dead. Unlike most movies that kind of want to show you some little unrealistic deal. I mean, I guess it's a zombie. It's unrealistic. But you get my point where like it shows a skeleton and you're kind of like, well, how is the skeleton even moving or something like that? Well, this one, it shows a fully fleshed people who are still moving around and eating others. Pretty much. Yeah. I kind of liked it either way around, long story short.
I'm a big fan of the look of these zombies because I like how dirty they look. I like that they still mostly have their flesh on them. When you see that coming towards you, to me, that's more scarier than seeing, you know, like you were talking about one that's like, you can see a lot of the skeleton's bones. Because if you're just looking at that, you're like, is that a homeless dude that got fucking beat up? What the fuck is that? And then they get close to you and they take a bite out of you and you don't know if they're on bath salts, if they are the undead. Like, you don't know what to do. So, like, there's that slight realism you brought up to it that, to me, makes it a lot scarier. What did you think of the score of this music? You even brought up when we were watching it, the big song from this movie where you were like, oh, there you go, you should rap to that. And I was like, oh, Necro's already done it. Mm-hmm. What did you think of the soundtrack to this?
I honestly didn't pay too much attention to it, but when I'm thinking back to it, I thought it was actually rather good. It did kind of keep you feeling or keep you moving along with the movie. It wasn't to the point where it was completely drowning it out and trying to make you feel all the scared because of the sound. It was actually all the scared because of the visual effects of the movie.
Yes, I agree that the soundtrack doesn't do that much to push the fear, but I do think it adds to the voodoo atmosphere, especially with the drums going on all the time. But it's that ending theme that do. I can't even fucking do it, and I literally just watched the movie. But it's so good. So a quick history lesson on this movie. This movie came out in Italy as Zombie 2 because George Romero's Dawn of the Dead, when it got released over there, Dario Argento, who's a very famous director, he did like Suspiria and Tenebrae and stuff, he actually recut the movie, changed out the music, made it a little bit more action-y. And so this came out as a sequel, so when they brought it up here, they couldn't call it Zombie 2 because there was no Zombie 1, so they just called it Zombie. And then over in England, it came out as Zombie Flesh Eaters. And they actually have went up to 6 movies in the zombie series. And they get worse as they go. There's Killing Birds, which is fucking terrible. It is awful. I'll make you watch that one day. And they don't really connect. It's literally just throw this title on it and fucking sell it. Bam, done.
Kind of as bad as what Trolls is, I hear from everybody.
Yes, because there's like there's a Troll 3 that's not even a troll movie. It's about some fucking plants. It's awful. It's really bad. So with that being said, if we're gonna use Netflix ratings, which means 1 through 5, 5 being absolutely loved it, 4 being really liked it, 3 thought it was good, it was okay, 2 didn't really like it, and 1 hated it. What would you give Zombie?
Gotta get halves on that.
I'll give you a half. I mean, fuck it.
I would think 3.5 because it's not the greatest thing I've seen out there, but you know, it's better than what I was expecting. So hey, I would watch it again.
That's good. When you go in with expectations and it does beat your expectations, even if it's only a little bit, that's a fucking win. So with that being said, would you like to look into more Italian cinema and more stuff by director Lucio Fulci?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. So with that being said, we're going to get out of here. Like, comment, subscribe, and in the comments, let us know what movies you think he should be watching. Because we're going to need suggestions. I have a lot. We've got tons of stuff to go through throughout the entire history of horror, but nothing is off limits. So let us know in the comments.
Because if we don't, we're going to just sit here and watch Ernest. That's what we're gonna watch. No.
I love Ernest Scared Stupid, so I will watch that anytime. That's why I own a Blu-ray of it. Thank you very much. So we're gonna get out of here. Thank you, Jeff, for joining me. Thank you for sitting through Zombie, and we will see you guys next time.